I have been playing Final Fantasy 13.
Oh, we need to hear about this
Let's
because
hear
nobody
it.
else
Give us
here
the
bought
goods.
it. What platform are you playing it on?
The PS3.
Okay.
And I'm going to now take down my trousers and sit on my throne because I'm going to shit all over this game.
Okay.
Why?
Or at least for the first, 15 hours of this game.
15 hours? Why would you shit on it for 15 hours?
That hurts.
Because it's really bad.
That's a good reason.
All right,
give us the goods. Lay it
else?
out in steps. It's Final Fantasy, traditional RPG. What is it doing different?
No. It's not a traditional RPG by any means. Because
what is it then?
Because the idiots at Square Enix decided that the traditional RPG wasn't good enough for this game, and so they basically got rid of everything that makes a good traditional RPG, which is like the world and the exploration and the towns and the stories and the NPCs.
So what you're saying is this is ridiculously scripted?
Yeah. Basically,
I'm sure the script is ridiculous as well.
The entire world for the first 20 to 25 hours of the game is essentially a corridor going from A to B filled with enemies, with the occasional little path deviating from it where you have a chest at the end of it.
So it's a dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not a very good dungeon because it's pretty much just one line from A to B, and you just go from A to B fighting monsters. When you get to the end, there'll be a boss battle or a cutscene. Usually a cutscene. And then it will start again. There'll be another long corridor from A to B.
For some reason, I'm having trouble imagining this as something other than audio surf.
That's pretty much it. For the first 10 seriously, for the first 10 hours of the game, I didn't want to play the game. I seriously wanted to put it down and just go nah for the first 10 hours because I was not enjoying it. The story was not piecing together very well. The combat was too easy. But the combat gets really good. I'm going to take a whole step back. I'm going to take a big step back now because I'm kind of going all over the place.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about the story.
Okay.
Very briefly because it's so confusing. They really throw the Final Fantasy jargon in there thick and heavy. But basically, you have the world of Cocoon, which is like a moon, I think.
The moon of Cocoon.
And you have the world of Pulse, which is what Cocoon floats around, is in orbit of, I assume.
Sounds like a moon, then.
Yeah, but it's not in space. It's just sitting above it. I don't know. It's hard to because isn't explained properly.
It's
what
in
the
that.
hell it is.
It's in that sort of futuristic Final Fantasy realm.
Yeah, and basically. The world of Cocoon is in constant threat of invasion from Pulse, and the worlds are controlled by these magical beings called Falsi.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
magical beings?
Yeah, they're basically
beings. Not beings.
They're basically like gods. Who
beings are what?
Beings. Not beans.
Oh, he said beans like Jack and the Beanstalk.
No,
I was dying laughing over here. I'm like, beans. Oh my gosh!
They've definitely gone off the rocker.
Beings.
Right. So the world is being run by these godlike creatures called Falsi, but an evil Falsi shows up and scares the shit out of everybody. And so they basically decide they're going to round up everybody who has anything even remotely to do with this evil Falsi and kill every last one of them, mass murder everybody. And so they load them all on
World War II.
Well, they load them all on trains and they send them off. They send them off to a place so they can butcher them en masse.
Wow!
And that's where the game. That's where the game starts. You have your opening cutscene, which shows a train full of prisoners, and the main characters kick the crap out of the guards. They take a load of guns. They end up in this massive, weird cavern thing, and there's a huge gunfight going on all over the place. And then it just drops you straight in. It's the whole game just starts oh my god, you're on a train, there's a big gunfight, oh my god, the train gets blown up, people are getting shot at and dying and getting killed by big things. Now you're the main character and here's a boss. Fight! and that's it. It just drops you straight in it. It doesn't explain anything. It just drops you straight in. It's like, here's a big boss character, fight it.
Wow.
And that's
So
kind
you're
of
on
how,
your way to a concentration camp.
yeah. And you're fighting your way out of it basically for the first like 5 hours. And but
For the first
combat.
5 hours, you doing that?
well, maybe not. Maybe 5.
I heard the
It may
tutorial was
have
really long.
actually been 5 hours that you spent trying to get out of that concentration camp because there's a lot of cutscenes, like a lot of cutscenes.
Okay.
But basically, right. So as I said, the game world is basically corridors with cutscenes and bosses between them, and you're just basically running down a corridor, fighting bad guys non-stop. There are no towns, there are no NPCs, there are no side quests, there's no deviation from the main plot whatsoever for about 25 hours of the game.
That's a long time.
Sounds like quite
Yeah.
a relentless pace.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for the fact that the combat in this is really, really good, this game would be complete and utter shit. But the combat, though starting off really weak, becomes so good once the difficulty ramps up.
How does the combat work then?
Yeah, how does it work? How are the game mechanics?
Well, the combat is essentially an ATB battle system, like in 7 or 8 or 10-2, 9.
Right, the active
Time battle system. But basically what they've done is they've racked the speed up right up to 11, so the ATB gauge fills up really quickly, and they've split the ATB into like 3 or 4 segments, so then in the time it takes for that one gauge to fill up, you can queue up like 2, 3, 4 attacks. And so when you are attacking, it's not like you just run over, bash, run back. It's you run over, smack, 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 and then you run back. And it flows so much quicker because they've just basically racked the speed up by a huge amount. And there's like this whole, it's a mixture between active time battle and real time. Like, no, it's rubbish. It's just an active time battle system that runs really, really quickly. And because it runs really quickly, they've kind of taken away some of the choice that you would have in a previous Final Fantasy by having an auto battle system, where basically you press X, you'll press X, and it will select what attacks you're going to attack the enemy with. So you can basically take away all control over all your attacks, all your options.
Okay.
Which is actually kind of useful because at the very start of the game you only have like 2 attacks, and later on in the game where you're juggling the different jobs and skills that your characters can do, you really don't have the time to be faffing around going through loads of different abilities to select which ones you want. Which brings me on to the job system, which is where the game actually gets really good, because basically you have different jobs which determine what abilities your characters have in a battle at any one time.
Sounds like somewhat standard Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of them.
So you have like your commando, who is your physical attacks, and you have your Ravager, who is your magic, your black.
So you have a warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah, you basically have a warrior, a black mage, a white mage, a buff character, a debuff character, and a sentinel, which is basically your defender.
Right.
And
So
you
whatever they want to call it.
yeah, and you basically have to juggle those in order to have a good combination to be able to take on the enemies with. And at the start of the game, it's pointless because it doesn't matter. You can just batter the crap out of the enemies and they'll just drop like flies. But then the game gets hard, and you're really having to think about what you're doing. You're having to like look ahead, preempt what's going to happen, and make sure that you have the right kind of characters and the right God, what am I thinking about? The right jobs
and stuff
set
selected,
up.
yeah.
Like, it feels like that it's just a big tech demo for the battle system.
Which is good.
It's the battle system's really, really good. The story is mediocre, and the game mode is horrendously bad. So it's
There you go.
It's
That's Final Fantasy
really
13.
a really mediocre Final Fantasy, and I'd say stay clear of it unless you can get it for like $30
All
or
right.
£20.